Yo, what is good with y'all boys? It's me Swoop here and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today's going to be showing you guys a brand new rod progression guide inside of Fisch. Now before you get into this video, make sure you guys do smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, as I would really appreciate it. But yeah, let's not waste no more time and get directly into this video. Let's get it. Alright guys, now moving on to our stage 1 rod is going to be the carbon rod. As you guys can see, it is 2,000 credits. Now if you're unfamiliar with how stages work in this game, it's basically divided into 12 stages, which is based on where you're at in the game. So for our stage 1 rod or our early game rod, you're going to be going for the carbon rod. It's going to be 2,000 credits. It's a pretty good rod as well. As you guys can see, it has 15% lure speed, 25% luck, 0.05 control, 10% resilience, and 600 kg. So this is going to be the first rod you're going to get. It's a very solid starter rod. Definitely will end up recommending that. But we can end up moving on to our stage 2 rod, which is going to be next in the progression. Alright guys, now moving on to our stage 2 rod. Basically, once you do end up saving up enough money and getting the carbon rod, you'll be able to buy yourself a boat. And basically, we're going to have to buy ourselves a boat and end up going over to Rosslet Bay. Now pretty much once we do end up heading over to Rosslet Bay, which is going to be directly north or like eastern, kind of like over there in this general direction, just go straight from Moosewood, you're going to want to end up heading over to this island. Now once you are here, basically you're going to want to end up going over to the back area, and this is where we're going to get our stage 2 rod. So just go ahead, go past all of these little pathways and stuff, and then once you end up seeing the volcano entrance, just make a right here, and then just follow down this path, and eventually it's going to end up leading you to this NPC back here. Okay, now all you have to do is end up fishing up a puffer fish. What you can end up doing is fishing it up over there. Once you do end up getting a puffer fish, just give it to this orc guy, and then he's gonna give you a little bit of dialogue. So yeah, he's gonna say, sure, you want some humans, some fish, all type of stuff. And yeah, I have the puffer fish right here, and then you're gonna want to give it to him, and then eventually you'll be able to get the rod. So there we go, we got the magma rod, and as you guys can see, 45% lure speed, 55% luck, 0.15 control, 0% resilience, 1200 kg, and it's a pretty good rod, and it has a 10% chance for that Ashen Fortune mutation, which is a really good mutation for the early game. So that's going to be your stage 2 rod, and now we can end up moving on. Alright guys, now moving on to the stage 3 rod we're going to end up going for is going to be the Phoenix rod. Now if you guys are struggling to get money, basically just if you want to get money, farm at Castaway Cliffs with that wildflower rod, which is your stage 2 rod. It's literally the best place you can end up going to farm for money. But once you do end up raising around 50,000, which is pretty expensive, you're going to want to end up heading over here to the Ancient Isles area, which is going to be directly behind Moosewood. Now as you guys can see, what you're going to want to end up doing is basically just making your way to the back half of the island. So you're going to want to take these little zip lines around the map. They'll be lit up in like green, so you'll know exactly where they are. Kind of climb up here, maneuver your way through here, and then eventually you'll be able to take this zip line right here, climb up some of these ladders, as you guys can see, and then we can end up zipping our way to the back. Now pretty much what we're trying to do is head over here to the top half of the area, and this is definitely one of the best stage 3 rods you could end up getting. You can also go for the Depth Seeker rod, which is in Atlantis, but this is my personal favorite stage 3 rod and a really good one. So just go ahead, head up here, and then what you're going to want to end up doing is basically just dropping in the back area. As you guys can see, you could end up using your camera to kind of see, but you're going to want to go over to this little cave, as you guys can see right here, and I definitely just said that twice, but here it is, the Phoenix rod. You can end up getting this for 50,000 credits. It'll be sitting right here. There's also some Eclipse totems in here, but we don't really care about that. And here we have some decent stats: 55% lure speed, 80% luck, 0.02 control, 15% resilience, and 8,000 kg, and it does have a 40% chance to get the Blaze mutation, which is like a 2.4 times mutation, I think. So yeah, very good rod. Definitely would recommend getting this. And now we can end up moving on. So now moving on to the stage 4 rod we're going to end up going for is going to be the King's rod. Now basically what you're going to want to end up doing is grabbing yourself a boat from Moosewood, and then you're going to want to make yourself a right, and pretty much you're just going to want to end up going until you see this Statue of Sovereignty. Just use the little headers to, you know, get to island to island, but basically you're going to want to end up going through here, going past here. We're going to end up talking to the miner guy right here, as you guys can see, Cole, whatever his name is. Just ask him to use the elevator. It's going to cost you 400 credits. You should basically have this by now, but yeah, just make that deal with him, and then you're just going to want to end up interacting with the elevator. Okay, so once you do end up going down the elevator, pretty much what you're going to want to do is just make a left, and then you'll see the King's rod, and this is going to be a really good rod for this point in the game. So yeah, as you guys can see, once this little black screen goes, it does take a little minute, but once you're doing getting down here, just make a left right here, and then you'll see right here it's going to be 100,000. But this is a really good rod. As you guys can see, I'm gonna just search it up right quick. 25% lure speed, 85% luck, 0.15 controls, 35% resilience, infinite kg, and this is gonna probably probably going to be your first infinite kg rod. So yeah, very good rod. And now we can end up moving on. All right guys, now moving on to our stage 5 rod. Basically we're going to be going for the rainbow cluster rod. In order to get this rod, you're going to want to end up going all the way over to Castaway Cliffs. Now this is one of the main fishing spots, one of the best fishing spots in the entire game, but this is where we're going to end up finding this rod. So basically just end up taking one of your boats and then end up gliding over here. But pretty much what you're going to want to end up doing is you're going to want to hop out right here, and then you're going to want to follow this path. So you're going to want to go up here, and then there's going to be some ladders right here. You're going to want to end up just climbing up there, and then you're going to see the place where you're going to get this rod. Okay, now in order to get this rod, you're more than likely going to need a bunch of sundial totems, so make sure you guys do end up having sundial totems. But once you are here, basically you're going to want to make a left, and then you're going to see this abandoned cave next to this house. Now you're just going to want to simply go through here and end up jumping down, and then you're going to be teleported to the secret area. Now over here behind you is going to be this pedestal, and basically you're just going to want to use sundial totems until you end up getting this rod to end up spawning. It's going to end up spawning with the rainbow weather event, and that is a pretty rare weather event, but if you do spam sundial totems, eventually it'll end up spawning here for 250,000. Now I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this is a really good rod. This is the rod I literally always go for when I do new playthroughs. But as you guys can see, 65% lure speed, 180% luck, 0 control, 25% resilience, and 50,000 kg. But the best part about this rod is it does have the chance to get the rainbow cluster mutation, which is an 8 times mutation, and it's a very good mutation. So yeah, this is a really good rod. Definitely would recommend end up doing it. It does have a bunch of other passive abilities too. It's a little expensive. I think it's like 250,000, but trust me, it's definitely worth it. It's a really good rod, and this is gonna be your stage 5 rod. Alright guys, now moving on to our stage 6 rod. Basically you're going to want to end up making your way over to Ancient Isle, and then you're going to want to end up going over to the crafting area. So as you guys can see, behind this waterfall, or like inside this waterfall, it's going to be a secret little area where you can end up crafting rods, and this is the rod we're going to be going for, the Toxic Spire rod. This is a really good rod in my opinion, one of the most underrated in the game. But basically you're going to want to end up ziplining down here, and then you have to end up completing this little puzzle. If you don't know how to do it, you just need 4 people to get all of the little totem fragments and then stand on here. They're really easy to get. If you can just get 4 people, it'll unlock this new area. Very easy to do. And then once you end up doing that, basically you're just going to want to end up going through the ancient archives, and then eventually you're going to see this anvil right here. So just end up going over to this anvil, and then you'll be able to craft this rod. Now as you guys can see, there's a bunch of other rods here, but you're going to want to go for the Toxic Spire, and what you're going to end up needing is a poison driftwood. So you just have to catch a driftwood, which is a pretty easy catch. Then you're just going to want to end up basically just appraising your driftwood until you end up getting the poison mutation. Next up is the Toxic Core, and you get this from the underground area, I believe. So just the underground, underground jungle area, you just do them little things and you'll be able to get that. And I think you get the murky thread there too, if I'm not mistaken. I believe you get it there. But once you do end up getting both of those things from the thing, and you appraise this driftwood, you'll be able to craft it for 170,000. As you guys can see, the stats speak for themselves. They're really good stats. 248% luck, 87% lure speed, 0.3 control, minus 20% resilience. And the best part about it is it does have a chance to give you the toxic mutation, which is an 8 times multiplier. It has a chance to freeze the fish, all type of stuff, slashes, everything you can need inside of a rod. But this is a very good rod. Definitely would recommend it, and it looks really cool. But we can end up moving on. All right guys, now moving on to our stage 7 rod. Basically we're going to be going to the illuminescent caverns, which you can end up finding under the desolate deep. If you do end up making a right and then putting in the keystones, you'll find the illuminescent cavern. So we're just going to use a conception conch just so we don't have to do all that. But yeah, as you guys can see, once you do end up making it through all of that exterior stuff, you're going to be in the illuminescent cavern. Now basically in order to get this rod, you have to end up completing the entire bestiary here. So it's not a really difficult bestiary to end up completing, but once you do end up doing the whole bestiary, well, you'll be able to get this rod for 1.5 million. And it's a very cool looking rod, but it has insane stats. So it has 85% lure speed, 100% luck, 0.18 control, 10% resilience, and 250,000 or 25,000, sorry, max kg. Now the main best part about this fishing rod is definitely the fact that you can end up getting a 16x multiplier if you perfectly catch a fish. So yeah, that's insanely good. And if you're a really skilled fisher, you'll literally be able to maximize the capabilities of this rod and be able to get 16x catches every time. The master mutation is very OP. It also has slashes, and it has a closing. Like, it makes the progress speed really fast. So it's a very good rod. I definitely would end up recommending you go for this rod. But yeah, that's going to be the luminescent sword rod, and it's very good. We can end up moving on. Okay guys, now moving on to our stage 8 rod, we're going to be going for the Cerulean Fang rod. Now this is a pretty expensive rod to get your hands on, but it's a very good rod. Now in order to get this, you're again going to want to be in the luminescent cavern, which we literally just were. But basically you're going to want to end up going over here to this corner right here. You're going to see this rod. It's going to be like a idle rod. It's going to be this rod, but like without no powers or no pizzazz or nothing. But basically in order to get this rod to trigger, you need a starfall event to happen. So if you have sundial totems, literally just spam them until a starfall event happens, and then you'll be able to buy this rod for 5 million credits. Now this is an absolutely insane rod. As you guys can see, it has pretty decent stats. I mean, the stats aren't too crazy. 75% lure speed, 190% luck, 0.25 control, 35% resilience. So yeah, the stats aren't too crazy, but the one thing that makes this rod insane is the insane amount of slash that you're gonna get with it. It's a really good piercing rod. It's one of the best piercing rods in the game, and that's really good in turn for admin events. Now these admin events, you're definitely going to be able to take advantage of this rod and catch really expensive, super difficult fishes to end up catching with this rod. It makes these catches really easy. Very good rod for the stage of the game, especially when you're going after admin abuses, and they do happen every single week. So yeah, you're definitely going to want to end up making sure you take advantage and getting this rod. But yeah, this is going to be this cerulean fang rod, a very good rod, and we can end up moving on. Alright guys, now moving on to stage 9, there's a couple of rods you can end up getting, but I think the best rod you can end up getting is the evil pitchfork rod. So again, from the luminescent cavern, you're going to want to end up talking to this crimson guard, and you need to turn in a crimson crystallized dragon, which you can end up getting over here. Then you're going to mutate it and stuff. But once you do end up doing that, it's going to end up unlocking this door, which will take you over to the crimson biome. If you play Terraria, you know this biome. But yeah, basically what you're going to want to end up doing is end up going over to the crimson, and once you are here, pretty much in order to get this rod, you have to go over to the crimson king, which he'll be like over here sitting on this couch, and then you have to end up doing his quest line. So he's going to tell you to go find some mushroom dudes around, and there's one right here, and then he'll ask you like simple quests like collecting these plants or collecting crystals and stuff. Really easy quest. But once you end up doing all of those quests, you're gonna end up getting this little evil sigil right here. As you guys can see, it's kind of sitting on the couch right there, but yeah, you're gonna end up getting the evil sigil, and then you could end up crafting the rod from getting that evil sigil. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna end up heading over to the ancient archives. All right guys, now that we are here at the ancient archives, you can end up going over here and then crafting the evil pitchfork. Now this is gonna be 20 million. This used to be free, but it's gonna be 20 million, but it's definitely worth it because it has a ton of passives. Like, I think this might have the most passives out of any rod. But as you guys can see, we can end up going over the stats: 150% lure speed, 120% luck, minus 0.1 control, minus 10% resilience. But what makes this rod really good is the passives. Like, you can get giant fish, big fish, and it has the evil multiplier, which is I think a 15x multiplier and stuff. Whole bunch of crazy stuff. It has the spike mutation or whatever it's called, bunch of mutations and stuff. You know what I'm saying? 50% chance to gain 5 times your fish's base value. So it makes fish very expensive. It's a pretty difficult rod to end up getting your hands on, but it definitely is worthwhile. It's a really good rod, especially for admin events, being able to make, you know, those admin fish giant and stuff. But yeah, this is going to be the evil pitchfork, and now we can move on to stage 10. Alright guys, now moving on to our stage 10 rod, we're going to be going for the ruinous oath. Now there's a ton of stage 10 rods you could go for. You could go for the try hard rod, the breeze rods, the Oniri falcons, but I always will stand on the fact that I think the ruinous oath is the best rod for the stage in the game. So as you guys can see, it's going to be 30 million, so it's a really expensive rod. But in order to get this, you have to end up getting a shiny and sparkling fish from this entire crimson area. So yeah, just get a shiny and sparkling fish. Easier said than done. I mean, it's not too difficult. If you do appraise the fishes, you can end up getting the shiny and sparkling mutation. But once you do end up completing the bestiary with a shiny and sparkling mutation, you'll be able to get this fish or this rod for 30 million credits. Now as you guys can see, it looks really cool, but the stats, they speak for themselves. 95% lure speed, 500% luck, 0.08 control, 25% resilience, and max infinite kg. So yeah, this is a very good rod. Now the thing that makes this rod really good is the fact that you get the master mutation every time if you perfect catch a fish, and if you don't perfect catch a fish, you do have a 9 times chance to be able to get the luminescent mutation. So yeah, this rod, it speaks for itself. It's a really insane rod. I definitely would recommend investing in getting this rod. It's my personal favorite rod in the game. It looks absolutely sick. But we can end up moving on to the next stage, which is stage 11. All right guys, now moving on to our stage 11 rod is going to end up being the random rod. As you guys can see it now, in order to get this rod, you have to end up hitting max level, which is level 2000. So it is a very hefty grind, but this is an absolutely like insanely random rod. It's a pretty good rod, but it's really random. So yeah, as you guys can see, first off, the stats, unreal. You know, these stats, don't listen to them, they're really propaganda, but I mean, it's still insane stats. So 80% lure speed, 1000% luck, which is one of the highest luck percentages in the game, 0.1 control, 10% resilience, infinite max kg. And yeah, as you guys can see, this rod, it does look pretty cool. It's not too bad of a looking rod, but the thing that makes this rod special is the random ability. So I'm gonna just show y'all, you know what I'm saying, but basically everything about this rod is going to be randomized. So the progress speed, the you know, the size bar, the size of the fish, you know, you could either get a fish that's double the size, or you know, half the size. So as you guys can see, we ended up getting 6-7 progress speed, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, this is just one of the rods I really just have to show y'all just how it is, and you could end up getting like see minus 69% progress speed. We're not, I mean, we could catch that fish, but yeah, it's not gonna end up catching. And you could end up getting, I had a 454 streak, but yeah, you could either end up getting unlucky fish or lucky fish, and unlucky fish is minus 0.50% multiplier. As you can see, we got an unlucky fish, or the jackpot fish or lucky fish will end up being like a high multiplier, which is like 7.7 times. So yeah, I mean, this is a very random rod. I definitely would recommend getting this rod. Like if you are level 2000, you're just gonna get it regardless. So it's a fun rod to use. It's not really like useful, but it is a fun rod to use unless you're trying to catch like really rare fish, because it does have an insanely high luck multiplier. But yeah, this is going to be the lucky rod or random rod. We can end up moving on. All right guys, now moving on to the last rod, which is going to be our stage 12 rod, is going to be the fabulous rod. Now I don't have this rod actually because I didn't really feel like grinding for it. It's an insanely long grind, but basically you do have to end up talking to the NPC inside of the comm zone. You have to do a bunch of really difficult quests, but eventually you'll end up getting this rod. Now I'm gonna just pull up a picture of the rod right here. As you guys can see, this is a very beautiful looking rod. But yeah, so basically it's going to end up having 100 lure speed, 500% luck, 50% resilience, infinite max kg, and it's going to have 0 control. And this rod isn't going to cost nothing, just a ton of time to end up getting this rod. So yeah, but I mean, the stats, the passives, they speak for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Every 0.25 seconds you have a 25% chance to slash the fish for 1.5 progress. After 3 slashes you get 0.2 control, you get 100% progress speed automatically, and the effects they originate over 3 seconds, and it has a 26% chance for the fabulous mutation. So this is endgame rod. Out of all of these rods, this is probably the last rod you'll end up getting inside of the game. But yeah, this is the fabulous rod. I don't have too much to showcase about this rod, but this is what it looks like, and that's how you get it. And yeah, but yeah guys, that's gonna be all I'm gonna end up having for this new video. Make sure you guys stay tuned. I'm gonna have a bunch of videos coming out for this brand new update. But it's your boy Swiffer here. I hope you guys did end up enjoying it, and bye.